With Boruto 2 Blue Vortex Chapter 20 out and Sarada showcasing her MS for the second time, it's time to deep dive into Sarada and really understand her abilities. We first see Sarada show her MS ability through her fight with Ryu when she is caught by Ryu's sand, and after a brief chat with Yodo, she summons a black hole that is sucking in the iron sand. We know that Sarada's eyes resembles the sun, and the sun has gravitational force to pull anything and anyone into it. So, her MS ability could be an ability of that nature. Now, there are lots of people, and myself included, saying it could be a black hole, which is most likely the case as that would be the most overpowered ability in the verse thus far. We have seen something much similar to the black hole as there is Kamui. The databook states in Obito's case that the left eye warps distant things into the dimension by fixating a glance on it, while the right eye unconsciously makes a body slip through by transferring it into the other dimension. Sarada can have a similar ability like the Kamui and have one of her eyes, when she is looking at an enemy, use her black hole and warp distant things into the dimension or utterly destroying it entirely. I don't believe it will be Kamui in and of itself, as Kamui is an ability that does not apply and does not happen instantly. We've seen this with Obito in chapter 596 when Obito is fighting Guy Sensei and absorbs the nunchucks Guy had. Naruto instantly jumps from behind him with a Rasengan, and Obito is still absorbing those same nunchucks while Naruto is pressing him with his Rasengan. In short, Kamui may be perceived as instant, but in chapter 598 we see Naruto's clone is getting absorbed at the same time we see Obito shooting out a rod using Kamui. This was thought to only be Naruto's Rasengan being absorbed, but it was actually his clone. Not only was Obito fooled, but the Kamui from both users was not instantaneous. Each individual who awakens the Mangekyou Sharingan develop a unique ability based on their own chakra and experience. We've seen in chapter 80 of Boruto, after Ada uses omnipotence and everyone believes Boruto killed Naruto and Hinata, Sarada's talking to Sasuke and is so emotional about helping Boruto that her eyes turn into the Mangekyou Sharingan. The opening title of Boruto 2 Blue Vortex in chapter 20 is called Because of Love. This is crucial as we all know that Sarada loves Boruto. If it was not for the trauma she suffered back in chapter 80, then adding on the person that she looked up to the most, which is Naruto, that being her inspiration, is said to be dead, adding the factor that everyone was after Boruto, talking to her dad to help him out, she wouldn't have unlocked her MS. Now, I know what you guys are thinking. Where are you going with this? Let me cook. Sarada unlocking the MS through the love that she has for Boruto. And in Boruto 2 Blue Vortex, we've seen this again in chapter 5 when Boruto says, Sasuke risked his life to save mine for you, Sarada. We see Sarada turn around and hug him. In the very next chapter, in chapter 6, we see Sarada blushing and thinking back on this. The main point is this: Sarada always loved Boruto and always cared for his well-being and protection. MS abilities often manifest from deep, overwhelming emotions tied to someone the user loves or deeply cares for, which is triggered by a trauma to protect or revenge. Obito awakened his MS in chapter 605 from losing Rin. This was someone he loved and cared for. Sasuke unlocked his MS abilities, which were connected to Itachi and vengeance. But in chapter 402, we see this activate for the first time, which we learned from Obito in chapter 401, the truth about Itachi and why he did what he did. Even Shisui in chapter 590, his Kodoa Matsukami was tied to his desire to protect the Leaf Village and the Uchiha name, to avoid tragedy. We also see in chapter 619 Tobirama talking to Sasuke, saying there is no clan that feels deeper love than the Uchiha. That is why the Uchiha have suppressed and sealed it away. Tobirama further elaborates, saying once an Uchiha knows love, it's almost as if all of his or her previously checked emotions are released, then awaken a profound love and a power that even exceeds the Senjus. In the next panel, Tobirama says when an Uchiha who has known love then loses that deep love, it is replaced by even stronger hate that changes them. Sarada's strongest emotional drive is her desire to protect those precious to her, and Boruto is clearly at the center of that. She defied reality itself in chapter 80 by having her MS awaken for Boruto and the love and safety she wanted for him, and refusing to believe the world's written narrative. Now, with all that being said, I theorize that Sarada's MS can manifest two things from the love that she has for Boruto. The first being a protection-based ability. This ability would allow her to interfere with the fundamental law of cause and effect, denying preordained outcomes and rewriting reality through sheer emotional will. Unlike the Izanagi, which rewrites reality at the cost of the user's eye. If an ally she sees is about to die, she can force their fate to pause, giving herself time to change the outcome. Or if an enemy attack is destined to hit, she can reject it entirely, causing it to never exist in the first place. She could even lock in multiple potential realities, choosing the best outcome for any given situation. But the more significant the change, the higher the cost. Overusing this ability would cause eyesight to degrade rapidly. But after unlocking EMS, there is no recoil and she has the full use to see all branching fates simultaneously. The second ability she can develop from her black hole that we see is Spacetime ninjutsu. In theory, she could absorb Ryu's iron sand and make it her own for a brief period of time using her own chakra and use it for her own gain in any battlefield. This would be useful as Boruto is able to use his karma and absorb ninjutsu, but having Sarada at his side and not be able to not only absorb but manipulate would be the best tool she could have. If this was a true black hole, that black hole should have been pulling everyone and anyone into it, even the kunai that she dropped. But as it looks, she can pull specific things or people she wants into it without harming others. We know that MS users have two abilities that go hand in hand. Her first being the black hole that she can attract objects, ninjutsu, etc. And the second could be using what she absorbed. This can also work in sealing, which we have seen Itachi in chapter 392 and 393 in his Susanoo state to seal away permanently with his Totsuka blade and able to deflect all things with the Yaramir. These abilities can work hand in hand for Sarada wanting to protect Boruto and everyone else she cares about from harm's way. But what do you guys think? Do you guys think Sarada's MS is a black hole that can be used to seal away and manipulate for her use? Comment down below your thoughts. I would love to see what you guys think. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe for more content. I'll see you guys in the next one.